reliable. Raducanu has reported that Chelsea are considering a move for Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen. The Blues admire the Nigerian forward and could submit an offer in the near future. Galatasaray value Osimhen at €65 million after Tottenham made an offer worth €50 to €55 million. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I already know that the comments are going to be like, why are we listening to this? People that have not even watched the video that are going to just pile negativity in the comments. Look, I hear it. I really do. This is more of a conversational piece for you guys. Raducanu, in my opinion, just drop down that ratings of like cool. Sometimes conversational pieces are great, but I can't say that this is reliable. This is wild. I understand it's from a Turkish outlet. He's in Turkey. It makes sense. They're going to want to drum up some interest. There is no way that Chelsea buy Victor Osimhen this summer. I know we're moving different. I know Alonso's there. I know we're getting more experience in, and this would be an incredible signing. I will still say it. It seems like if Chelsea were ever to make this move, it will be too late, and we should have done this years ago. And I still think that ship has sailed. It's sunk. It's at the bottom of the ocean. They're trying to find it. That's how far gone it is, right? However, wouldn't it be funny if we bought him out of spite to stop Spurs getting him? Because there has been multiple reports on the Spurs front saying that they have put in a bid for around £55 million rather than euros, which makes a big difference. And it was turned down. And Galatasaray won around £65 million, which again makes the euros irrelevant, more like 70, 75 million, right? Now, if that is the case, that is why Chelsea reignited their interest. Because they're going to be like, we don't want a rival going to get Victor Osimhen. Because I tell you what, Tottenham have been moving mad this summer. And if they go sign the likes of Tonali and Senassi and Anthony Robertson and then go get Victor Osimhen, what are we doing here? That is wild. That really upgrades Tottenham. Right? I don't care what you say about Spurs, but having Osimhen as a striker in the Prem, the guy's going to do bits. And we know that, which is why we get so excited every summer when we're linked with him. This has got to be the longest transfer saga I've ever seen in my life, other than maybe Ronaldinho when I was a teenager. That went on for years, and it never happened. This is very something similar. I saw Tobes, he put on Twitter the other day, it's like, we're approaching Hulk territory. Because we were linked with Hulk for years and years and years and years, and it never happened. So I'm not for 1 second saying this is going to happen, but I do find it very interesting in terms of the situation being very different. This isn't being gassed up as Chelsea are going to go buy him. This is more, Spurs are knocking on the door, they had a bid rejected, and Chelsea's ears are pricked up. And they could go put an offer in just so that he doesn't go to Spurs. And we've done that before with the likes of Willian. Hazard was one of those very similar players. It was United and Spurs, and there's 3 other things that happened within that type of signing. We've done it before. And on that side of things, I'd be all for it, you know. And at that point, if you are going to commit and get Victor Osimhen, you're going to be paying him a ridiculous wage, which would break the wage structure. He's not going to reduce his fee. That was the main breakdown of the negotiations a few years ago. We didn't want to pay him the money. We had this wage incentivized structure. He was like, no, thank you. And why would he? Well, he's on mental money at Galatasaray. I do think that Victor Osimhen should be playing in the top 5 league. That is one thing I'm going to be brutally honest with. Like, he should be playing in the top 5 league. He was in Italy, banging in goals. He's gone to Galatasaray, banging in goals. Obviously, it's a massive paycheck for him. He loves Chelsea. Drogba was his idol. It does make sense on paper. It would be a mad move. I would welcome it with open arms, but even if it doesn't, it wouldn't even make sense. We've got João Pedro. Like, what? You wouldn't bench Pedro for Osimhen, would you? We wouldn't bench Osimhen for Pedro, would you? You'd have to play both of them at some point. Like, that would be an elite level striking partnership that I don't even know how you'd manage that as a manager. I think Alonso would struggle with that. But like, how do I fit all these people in? We have to play 4-3-3. Do you know what I mean? Just to make it happen, or play 2 up front and hope they don't get injured. 2 up front with a couple behind, and we'll go from there. So maybe there are ways of shoehorning him in, for sure, but I just find this absolutely baffling. It's every single summer. We started early this year. It was back in, like, I don't know, May that we were having the links with Osimhen, and it looked like it was going to revive to something, but yeah, I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that it is not going to happen, and if it does, then honestly, what dimension am I in? Because it's just been year after year after year of it not happening. So, like I said, the only angle I can see is if Spurs are going in, they've had a bid rejected, and then Chelsea are going in to stop that. That I could genuinely see. That Chelsea are like, hang on a minute, no, you ain't getting Victor Osimhen. We'll get him out of spite, and we'll figure it out after. We'll just figure it out. We'll get Victor Osimhen in. Alonso, we've got you this elite striker. Do you want him? Yeah. Unless you drop João Pedro deeper because he's so versatile. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think João Pedro is our out-and-out 9. Yes, he is versatile, but that's what his job's going to be. He's going to bag loads of goals. Honestly, that's some FIFA stuff, having Osimhen and João Pedro in rotation. That's wild. Absolutely wild. So I don't think there's any truth to this whatsoever. other than maybe loosely the Tottenham bid and Chelsea's ears pricking up. That I can believe, if that is the case. But I don't for 1 second think that Chelsea are going to go in for Osimhen, put money on the table and try and get him signed. And this could be his agent trying to stir up some interest to try and drive a move away from Galatasaray. But yeah, only like 20 million euros a year or something silly like that. Like, why would he move? Why would he move? He'd have to take a mad pay cut unless Spurs are willing to pay him 200-300 grand a week, which they probably are under this new sort of way that they're at with Tonali and everyone else being signed. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Chelsea apparently being back in the race to sign Victor.
Right, some breaking news to bring you from the world of tennis now. British #1 Emma Raducanu has withdrawn from the Nottingham Open. This comes after her run to the final at Queen's Club. 23 years old, she missed the chance to land that first title since her US Open success in 2021 when she was beaten by Croatia's Donna Vekic in that final yesterday. You'd have seen Raducanu starting Sunday's final wearing significant strapping on the inside of her left thigh, which she removed late in the first set. After her defeat, she said, "I've just been dealing with a few niggles over the past few weeks and of course the load I have had in the last week." So yes, the breaking news, Emma Raducanu, after that defeat in the final at Queen's yesterday, she's withdrawn from the Nottingham Open.
Stamford Bridge has a habit of resurrecting deals everyone assumed were buried. And right now, one name is climbing back up the board at Cobham, Victor Osimhen. Weeks of silence, weeks of, it's dead. And now, quietly, without a press conference, without a leak from the players' camp, the machinery is moving again. This is the story of how a collapsed pursuit found new life, who's driving it, and why the timing might actually make more sense the second time around. Let's start with the version coming out of Sky Sports Network, because their read on this is measured, almost cautious compared to the noise elsewhere. Their reporting frames this less as a fresh chase and more as a revival of contact that never fully switched off. According to that line, Chelsea's recruitment staff kept a channel open with Osimhen's representatives even after the summer window shut on the idea. No formal proposal, no numbers exchanged, just a door left ajar. What's changed, for that same reporting, is internal appetite. Sky's football correspondents are pointing to a shift in how Chelsea's sporting hierarchy is valuing a proven, physical number 9 compared to developing one from scratch. The suggestion is that patience with rotational forwards is thinning, and a ready-made goal threat is back on the wish list for January. Crucially, Sky's framing avoids the word agreement. They're careful with that distinction, contact resumed, structure being discussed, but nothing that resembles a green light. That's the kind of caution that tends to separate real movement from wishful thinking, so it's worth taking seriously precisely because it isn't dressed up as done. Now here's where it gets more animated, because when this story crossed into Romano's orbit, the tone shifted noticeably. His posting pattern on this has followed a familiar rhythm, first a guarded acknowledgement that talks exist, then a gradual tightening of language as sourcing improves. The suggestion from that camp is that this isn't just scouts reopening a file, there's renewed dialogue at a level involving intermediaries close to the striker himself, not just club-to-club chatter. The detail worth flagging is the framing around timing. Rather than pointing to the January window as the primary trigger, the reporting leans toward this being an early-stage relationship rebuild, positioning for whenever the move becomes financially realistic, whether that's the winter market or next summer. That's a meaningfully different shape than a deal racing toward signature within weeks.